X's still mark the cobbles on Groningen Central Square, where on June 2nd, more than 1,000 protesters gathered for one of many socially distanced Black Lives Matter events taking place across the world. As one of the organizers and speakers for the Groningen Feminist Network, Mallika Sillé highlighted how systemic racism is an important point to raise here as well.
And I am tired of people telling me that the Netherlands doesn't have a problem with racism.
What was it like for you to speak in front of so many people?
I really was happy with how it turned out. I was a bit nervous, but as soon as it started, I was ready to speak. I've been wanting to for a while, so I was really grateful for it.
When you found out about George Floyd's death, what went through your mind initially, and what was your reaction?
I actually didn't watch the video. I watched maybe a few seconds of it, but I was angry, and I have since had this sense of urgency to do something, like whatever I could. That sense of urgency did lead to the protest. We actually organized it in I think 2 or 3 days, which was very intense and a lot of work, but I'm very proud of how it was able to be accomplished.
The law that the Dutch Senate is passing, why are you so vocal about it? What is it that makes you want to speak up?
At the height of all of these Black Lives Matter protests in the Netherlands, for the Senate to want to pass this law, especially right now, is almost like a threat. What they took from this is, let's protect the police more, let's give them more rights to use violence, and I'm quite disgusted by it, actually.
Black Lives Matter originated from the United States and represents local interests of communities mostly. Now the movement has made international waves through social media, especially with George Floyd's death. Why do you think it's important for you as a person of color in the Netherlands to have this movement here as well?
Because the Netherlands widely believes that it's not an issue here. And I admit that people of color being killed by police officers is it's on a much smaller scale in the Netherlands. But it is still something that happens, and ethnic profiling is something that happens, and institutional racism is rampant throughout the Netherlands, and these things are often ignored.
What do you think is positive about this change in people speaking up now, and what do you hope for the future?
I would love if politicians start acknowledging institutional racism as like a starting point, because I remember like a few days ago the Prime Minister made a statement saying that he hates the term institutional racism, and he thinks that it shouldn't be something that politicians need to be the ones to deal with, but individual people. And I think obviously it's both. So that would be a great starting point to get people that are empowered to acknowledge the existence, and then we can go from there.